How did we get from a place of tipping where you felt it was a good service, let's say at a restaurant, haircut, pizza delivery guy, to having to tip every single place you go? Hey guys, welcome to Planet You. I wanted to hop on here today to start a little conversation with you about the tipping culture in, well, I live in Canada, but I'm sure it's happening in the United States probably too. Is it just me, or has it gotten a little out of control? You're seeing a lot of sort of what I like to call forced tipping. I can sympathize with people who do a good service, and I do feel that those people should still get tipped. I come from a serving background myself, and I know how hard it is to go out and serve the public all day long and try to put your best foot forward in order to make those tips. Generally, those people don't make as high of a wage, and the tips really compensate for that. So I do sympathize with that completely. I will continue to tip at restaurants and places that are service-based. But now you're seeing tips everywhere in really, really strange places. I've seen lots of tipping online, which I don't even know who I'm tipping because I'm not looking at the person. I have no idea who's doing what behind the scenes. And I've seen things as outrageous as tipping on self-serve checkout. So how does that work? Because you're doing the work. It's not necessarily about the tip itself, but it's the element of guilt, the element of pressure that's now attached to it. When we get handed the debit machine now, you automatically have those tipping options. 15%, 18%, 20%, more. We no longer have the choice to tip. It's more so like you feel pressured because you know that person is going to be standing across the other side of the counter from you, looking at you, waiting to see what you gave them. And I feel like a lot of businesses nowadays, they will actually look to the public to pay their employees because they're not paying them a sufficient wage. So they're looking to us to fulfill that gap. I'd rather they just incorporate the cost into the price to make up for what their employees aren't making from them. And that way we know exactly what we're paying and we're not surprised by a tip option at the end. There was actually a poll done recently in Canada where 59% of Canadians decided that they would rather have an all-inclusive non-tipping model where the staff is paid a higher wage. I personally don't mind paying $4 extra for a pizza. I just want to know the price when I come in and not feel pressured to give more when I'm at the counter and the employee who's in need of the money is standing there watching me do so. And we're removing that element of guilt in what's supposed to be an enjoyable purchase when we're out buying things. Pretty much all other parts of the world besides Canada and the United States don't tip. In Japan, for instance, it's actually considered insulting if you tip. I think they more so do the strategy of incorporating that into the price. Whereas here, we're all based on tips. And I feel like it's a real cop-out from the employer that the pressure is put on us as the public to make up for the money. And I have spoken to other people from other parts of the world who come to Canada or the United States, and they really dislike the way that our tip-centric culture is. I really do feel that tipping could lead to less business at certain places. Like, I know that if I'm going to feel pressured to give that 18% tip every time I buy a small item even, I'm probably going to go to that place less and probably go to more independent stores that aren't asking for the tip because I don't want to go in there and leave there feeling guilty, feeling pressured. So it's ironic that we're seeing tipping culture happening more and more nowadays. The tipping is going up and up. Whereas if we just left it where it was, where we felt like we could give a tip for service well done, then there wouldn't have been a backlash to it and people would have been fine with it. So really the whole model is going to backfire on itself. So what are your opinions on this? Do you feel like tipping culture has gotten out of control? Do you feel like there are still places that we should tip? Like places of service where someone has done a great job? Do you feel tipping should not be everywhere, or do you feel it's fair that it's everywhere? Would you like to see a model like other parts of the world where everything is included in the price? What are your thoughts on this? Please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback and start a conversation about this crazy tipping culture. I'm not really sure where I stand myself, but I know that something probably has to change. Thanks everybody for joining this conversation. Hit the notifications bell, subscribe, and we'd love to talk more with you.